Hello, welcome back. We're making changes once again. Change after change after change. I know it's it's a little crazy, but I got it, man. I wanted to shorten out the Semi podcast basically. So pretty much I want to split everything. I want to split it in half. With the news stuff that I'm doing. So this is gonna be different. We're gonna do it differently with the news as well. But then later on, it's gonna be like soccer talk, which is another different video. It'll be split into two videos pretty much. Mainly because I just want to keep it one being focused on football, and that's it. And then another separate video focusing on this stuff, which is mostly, I find some news stories and then articles, whatever, and then I, express my opinions, feelings, whatever, what I think about them, using examples of my own, whatever, from what's happened to me, I guess, in my life. I don't know. It's something different that I'm going to be doing, and pretty much the uploads will be different as well. So the plan here is this is pretty much like a little update. So the plan here is for me to upload 3 times a week, one on Monday, a different video on Mondays, on Wednesdays, this right here, this format, and then on Fridays to be soccer talk, or back to like semi end podcast basically. So yeah, we're gonna continue here with questions of the week here, and then great big stories, and another one, something weird that I find, whatever, that I find interesting. But so pretty much question of the week for this one is, what piece of advice did your parents give you that you follow now in life? Or if your parents and you're watching this, what piece of advice do you guys give to your kids? And hopefully they're following it. For me, I mean, I can't remember. I don't think I've gotten so much advice. Maybe I have. I just never paid attention to it. What I can think of is that I remember is them pretty much telling me, not quoting them, but in a way of them telling me, don't pretend to be someone you're not. Just be yourself. Another one was, before you make any decisions, think if those decisions will be, benefiting you, not others, but just you, like me in personal, me in general. So those are two things I remember being told. So, and I do follow that. I really like being just myself. I don't like to, I never really liked, like in high, like when I was in school, I never wanted to be like, pretended to be someone who I wasn't. If I liked if I liked a certain type of music, then that's what I would say. If I liked these certain types of movies, that's what I would say. Or if I liked, video games, I wasn't afraid of saying that. Or, liking anime, I wasn't afraid of telling, my friends or people I knew, like, oh yeah, I'm into anime. And if they didn't, like, if they're like, well, that's weird. I was like, whatever, dude. It's like, it's my thing. So I remember I did follow stuff like that, and then, with decisions that I made were like, is this going to be healthy for me or not? Because I really wanted to be healthy. I didn't want to like put stuff in my, like do things that like, where I put my stuff in my body that wasn't good for me. You know, Drugs, obviously. Or yeah, I was just like, always, or if there was something they told me to do, it was like, is that gonna, am I gonna get in trouble for that or something, or stuff like that. So a lot of decisions of mine were made like that. Like, I thought about it before. I mean, some of them were obviously bad that I made, but try to make the best of it. All right, let's move on with the great big story that I of this week, and it's Chicago story here. Pretty cool. I liked it. Pretty much, it's called "Giving Chicago's Youth a Fighting Chance," and it's about, again, Chicago is known for what? Shootings. Yeah, lots of shootings here, especially in the south side of Chicago. That's the most, dangerous part of Chicago. I've been there. I know from experience that, you always got to keep your eye out. You want to keep your, eyes in the back of your head. You want to always, just watch out. That's whenever I pass through there, or when I've been through there, um, I always had to be cautious. And I'm pretty sure anybody who goes to I've spoken with people, like Uber drivers, and they said, oh yeah, when I go through, like sometimes I have to go through there, and I just want to get out of there real quick, out of that area. So it's like I have to drop somebody off there, um, and then I really don't want to pick up anybody. Just want to get out of there. Heard stories about that, But so pretty much there's this person who lived there in the area. I think I'm not sure if it was in the area or in Chicago. This is the article now. She said she interviewed gang members. She went around. She went around and talked to them and said, if you're able to get out of this life, what's something that would help you do that? I believe it's something like that. And she said the majority of the answers were boxing. Boxing would get me out of this life. If I could go somewhere to box, then I'd be leaving this life. It can distract me from this life. I wouldn't be part of this anymore. What I liked about this story is that I did boxing. I took up boxing. I was interested in it. Ever since I was a kid. Boxing. But I also did it because sometimes I didn't want to. I wanted to be busy. Because around my area, it's not as the place where I grew up in is not as violent or as the south side of Chicago, but there was still gang-related activities going on, and a couple of my friends were into that. They wanted to get into that, and I didn't want to get into that. So I remember, I always wanted to take up sports in general, and this is just not just like boxing isn't a way to just escape from it. Also sports. And that's what I did. I always think like sports is something. Just think of an activity that you can do like after school or something. That's what I thought of it as. To do an activity for a way for you to say, when people ask you like, hey, me and my boys are gonna be doing this. You wanna come with? We're gonna be doing this stuff. We're gonna be maybe stealing from the shop or something, or going up hanging out with these guys and they're gang members. And I remember one way I wanted to use excuses was to be like, oh no, I can't, man. I gotta go to practice. I gotta go to, I got a game going on. I always said that I had activities in order for me to get out of those situations, to avoid those situations. Around, my area, there wasn't many boxing gyms. They were pretty much far distant. So what I had to do was, I remember being in the volleyball team in middle school. I remember being in the soccer team as well. And then going into high school, I was in the high school for 1 year, but then that's when I started, I was able to go a little bit farther, because in middle school there was limits, to how far you can go. You have to ask your parents to go somewhere. My parents didn't like the idea of me saying, hey, I want to do boxing. Because I remember watching boxing fights when I was a kid. And I told her, hey, I want to try boxing to my mom. And she's like, no way. My son ain't going to be getting hit in the face, So, and middle school was pretty tough. But, so I did like volleyball and soccer and around middle school. But in high school, I had more of a choice. I had more of a decision for myself. And I did do soccer once again. But I remember going to a boxing gym over there. It wasn't like a boxing gym because it was, well, yeah, it was a boxing gym. But yeah, I would go, to the gym and, spend my time there. If I wasn't doing soccer, there was indoor soccer as well during the winter. So, but the main point is that she built a Crushers Club, I believe it was called. She built a gym called Crushers Club. It's a boxing gym. And kids are able to go there, from the south, who live around that area. And, a great thing about boxing, because, it's a way to, you're punching. So what I love about it is that you can get your frustrations out, whether it's on the bag or in the mitts, with a trainer, or once you get to spar with someone else, shadow boxing, you can do so many things to get your frustrations, if you get stressed out. That's the main thing I did boxing for. I used it for, not only just, being healthy, not because I love the sport, but because, I wanted to get some stress out as well. So that's a huge plus. Maybe that's why, when she went around asking gang members, like, what would you do? And a lot of them said boxing because, they want to, they want to punch things, and I mean, it's a sport that you can do that. It's a good sport that you can do that. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. I like that article. I think was pretty awesome. That there's somebody like her. She's pretty old. Like she was old. She wasn't a young person, but she said, I want to help out these kids. I want to help out these. Kids can be kids. Kids can still live their lives as kids. And boxing is a great way to do it. It's a great sport. People think like, oh, it's not that great of a sport. You're getting punched, but a lot of times, you don't start having fights until like middle school maybe. But even then, like from middle school to high school, you'll be having the amateur fights, which is the ones with the helmets. Only professional boxing is that's what you see on TV. So a lot of the time it's mostly like the Olympics when you see boxing. That's the reality of it. And so you're not really, I mean, there is, you could get, hang bangs, like you're head banging around, but you're wearing protective gear. So lots of parents misunderstand, but boxing is a great sport for people who, want to release. That's a good way for it. It's a good word for it. Release like negative energy. That was that. So let's move on with the pornography story here now. So man sues parents for destroying his huge pornography collection. He says his stash included valuable out-of-print films, but his dad insists he did him a big favor by binning it all. I'm thinking burning? I don't know. So a U.S. man is suing his parents after they destroyed his massive pornography collection, which he claims was worth $29,000. His parents admit dumping the 12 boxes of films and magazines, which included titles such as Frisky Business and Big Bad Grannies. So it was worth a lot. We know that. You probably has some vintage stuff in there. Some old movies that pretty valuable if it's going to be $29,000. I wonder how many movies it was. His parents said it was good for him. So let's see. The 40-year-old from Indiana moved into their home in Grand Haven, Michigan in October 2016 after divorce. In court papers, he said when he moved out 10 months later, they delivered his things to his new home in Indiana, but that his pornography collection was nowhere to be seen. The unnamed man's case includes emails between him and his father in which he wrote, "If you had a problem with my belongings, you should have stated at the time and I would have gone elsewhere." So he's saying if he had problems with him having pornography, he should have told him earlier so that he can go live somewhere else. His dad, instead you choose to keep quiet and behave vindictively. His father responded, "Believe it or not, one reason for why you destroyed porn was for your own mental and emotional health." All right, so let's talk about this real quick. What I can see is his dad was trying to help him out. I mean, it's pretty bad to be keeping, I don't know how much amount of porn he had, but stashed away. And he's 40 years old. He's right. He was helping him, mentally. Well, I don't know about mentally, but it's pretty bad having, one bad thing I know about pornography is that you watch too much of it. If you're gonna have these like expectations of women doing certain things to you, like because of like the videos they have and what they do, they're weird. It's like, let's take an example, a pizza delivery one. So she orders pizza and the dude comes and she's like, "Hey, I ordered sausage," and so then what goes on from there, right? But so I mean, imagine like just if you watch so much, you're gonna be expecting if you're gonna be a pizza delivery, you expect a girl to be like doing something that, and you're gonna be like, I don't know, it's like hard to explain. I remember taking a psychology class and they explained this to us, but it's like a guy is pretty much not going to have so much respect for women, or can it be the opposite way? Maybe women maybe not respecting guys so much. It can be vice versa. I think it can. So yeah, I can see why his dad would say like, I'm helping you out, because it can also tie back to examples of the 40-year-old virgin, the movie, where Wait, no, he didn't have any though. No. All right, so forget about that. But I think I seen this somewhere. I swear I seen this somewhere. I don't know if it was a movie or a show, but this dude had huge amounts of pornography, and he couldn't. It's pretty much hard to get into a relationship, to have a relationship if you watch so much porn or you have a lot of porn. I mean, obviously, if somebody were to find it, they're gonna be like, the girl's gonna be like, whoa, the girl, she's gonna be like, whoa, you watch way too much porn. This is weird. Like, I don't think this is gonna work out. So maybe his dad could have been like, I'm helping you out for just in case you meet someone. That's what I'm thinking. Or just in general, because this dude's probably, having these expectations, like I said, having these expectations, and, because of all this porn, and never going to have a healthy relationship, pretty much. Let's see what else is going on here. Emotional health, right. So I would have done the same if I had found a kilo of crack cocaine. Someday I hope you will understand. I did you a big favor by getting rid of all this stuff. Again, that's the dad saying that to him. His son, who was seeking triple financial damages of roughly $87,000, initially filed a complaint with local police, but the Ottawa County prosecutor decided not to press charges. So that's what he's trying to get that much more money from his parents. That's not cool. Honestly, that's one thing that I wouldn't approve of. Trying to get one, money out of your parents. Two, it's ridiculous because they threw away your porn stash, right? The man allegedly sent one officer 44 emails detailing movies that he said were destroyed. Wow. Listing many as valuable out of print films. But the prosecutor again decided not to press charges. His parents will recounted 12 movie boxes full of pornography, plus 2 boxes of sex toys, as you call them. We began that day the process of destroying them, and it took quite a while to do so. Well, I don't know about the toys. Toys, I don't think, are a big issue. I think those are just kinky, people are into like different things, right? So I don't know that they should have, thrown that away, but maybe they just felt uncomfortable or something. The man's father added, I also warned you at that time. If I ever found pornography in my house again, I would destroy it. So he knew. So there's his mistake. He knew that, and he shouldn't have done that then. Maybe he was calling us bluff. The identities of the trio have not been released as it is civil case without any criminal charges. Alright, so no charges completed, but I mean, I can't really say, for example, what I think about it, but I don't know anybody I've known people who have been caught with porn, and I mean, obviously things, when your parents, especially in high school, when your parents find porn on you, they throw it away, right? And it's not a big deal because we probably just, had one video or something. I mean, I've been caught with porn once, but it was because, this is a funny story. There was a dude who lived in our basement, and he would have porn. And one day, I knew he had porn, and me being a curious teenager, being the curious horny teenager, wanted to watch some. So yeah, I took one, and my parents found. I tried hiding it in my room, but my parents found it, and they probably thought I got it from somebody. I don't know what they thought, but they did. They didn't even tell me. They didn't even call me out on it. I knew they found it though because it was thrown away, and it wasn't there no more. So I knew I was caught, but they never called me out on it, and I didn't, say like, "Yo, why'd you throw my porn away?" Because I mean, it's like nothing. It's like whatever, no big deal to me. It was just like, oh shoot, I lost porn, whatever. So like, I mean, this dude had 12 boxes, right? I mean, that's a lot. That's a problem. I think that's a problem, having that much amount. I don't know if he collected it from when he was young or whatever, but being 40 and having that, it's kind of like redoing, man. But I mean, then again, he did get divorced. Maybe that's why he got divorced. And maybe she found the porn first, and then she was like, "Yo, dude, you're weird," or something. You never know. But yeah, I mean, that sucks. If he was planning to, sell all that for that much, like that much amount of money, then he should have done that earlier, Instead of, I mean, his dad warned him, if you have any more, I'm going to throw it away. I don't want that in my house. And I can respect him for that. If he doesn't want that in his house and he's told you already, then like don't have it in his house. Don't bring it back into his house. Like if you had it there, you got caught, and then because you better throw it away, and you're like, oh yeah, I threw it away, and then you left, you moved on with your life, you know. You should never brought it back. Mistake number one right there. But yeah, I can't really, you know. I don't know if it's because I'm Hispanic or something, but suing my parents, I wouldn't be able to do that. I don't know. I don't know if there's ever a situation of this. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a situation where I would have to sue them. I owe them so much, so I wouldn't be able to take away money from them. You know, they raised me, and that was not easy. Not at all. Anyways, that was a little crazy, right? I think it was a little crazy. Another porn star here. What's with might get views on this? I don't know. But yeah, that's it. You know, remember the question. You know, if you got any advice from your parents and you follow it, just shoot that down in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, all the good stuff. Subscribe. Make sure to, you know, I will be uploading three videos a week, so make sure to check out other content and see how this format does. We'll see how this does. Hopefully it does good. Yeah.